Hello everyone, this is CJNovo992 and today we're back for another brand new video, and as you can tell by the nasher, what I'm wearing tonight is the thing that Rangers gave me, and that is a massive smile, people, because that performance over Hibs was just as impressive and just as exciting to me as that 5-0 from Hearts, because that is two difficult games that we've just had there. That is two teams for the capital that's came to Ibrox, that's came to Govan and had their scants pulled down. Now, maybe the scoreline won't reflect that as it did, obviously, at the weekend, but if you talk about winning your individual battles and applying yourself and dominating a game of football, I saw that again tonight, even in the tricky conditions and that it was. I mean, there wasn't the best situation to play some beautiful football, but we did on occasion. And again, I'm sitting here really delighted about the bounce back ability of this Rangers team. And I think back to last Wednesday, right? And I can't help but reflect on it and everything like that. I know some people want to go back to that, but if you think about it, where we were headed as a team and how we were playing before that actual game, it wasn't promising. You know what I mean? We're sticking by this rigid style and it wasn't really working out for us. The players were sort of just coasting in games, but we got absolutely thumped last Wednesday, and it makes me think sometimes you need to hit rock bottom to bounce back. And I look at this Rangers team based on these back-to-back games since rock bottom, if you will, and I've got to say, that's exactly what I've seen. That almost invisible glass ceiling that these players had going over them, going in to last Wednesday, has been absolutely smashed, because we're seeing the re-emergence of Ryan Kent, who looks simply unplayable. We're seeing Alfredo Morelos just be ridiculous. And for me, we saw another faultless midfielder performance from our boy John Lundstrom. And if you want a 15-20 seconds quick summary of this game of football because it's late at night and you want to go to your bed, Rangers were so good tonight and so well rounded that we aren't even having to reflect on what a truly horrific, and I mean horrific, refereeing performance it was for Nick Walsh. We took that game out of his hands despite him trying his best, and yellow card to every Rangers player who made a foul in that game. We took it away from him, and that is the best thing you can say about Rangers tonight, because truly on paper and based on that, that was one of the worst officiating displays I've seen since the last game versus Hearts, if I'm honest with you. But again, we took it right out of their hands, and that's a credit to the Rangers team, because they had all the recipes. Tough team, tricky conditions, still a lot of questions about the team, and then you add in the mixture of a horrific refereeing performance. We've seen all that collide in a disgusting pie that we've had to eat, but nah. The Rangers team, to a man, stepped up and were counted. And aye, as it is so late at night, people, I think we're just going to dive right in to the actual recap, because again, we saw the start we wanted to see from Rangers. That distinct change in Giovanni since the obviously last Wednesday was there and quite evident. Again, high press, getting on people's faces and starting on the front foot. Now, it wasn't quite as fast as the last time versus Hearts, where we had a wee chance within 20 seconds, but it was almost like that. A couple of nearlies, a couple of good bits of play from Morelos, but the game really exploded in the 4th minute, where the ball gets put out to Ryan Kent, and again, you can just see the difference in that lad and how he's approaching the game. He's just looking like his old self again. So much confidence, so much belief, and so much aggression, because he just takes McGinn and just says, right, 1v1 son, you're absolutely done, and just skills him, runs in, clear and obvious penalty kick. I don't think there'll be anyone questioning this. I know there'll be moonhowlers beating their chest about Rangers getting a penalty and everything like that, but if you actually watch the game, you see the challenge. It's clear and obvious. McGinn just absolutely all over the shop. Doesn't get the ball, smacks Ryan Kent. It's penalty to Rangers, that iconic line. Now, again, I've still got this thing that when Kamal Roof isn't on the park, I still get a little bit nervous about the penalty kicks. I don't know if you're quite like that now, because you know James Tavernier, bit hit and miss lately. But when he stepped up there, I had visions of the other game I watched a couple of days ago, where I actually watched his brother Marcus Tavernier step up and score a penalty at Old Trafford to knock them pretty much out of the FA Cup. And I was watching, I was thinking, is he going to go the same corner as his younger brother and everything? Is he going to try and replicate that? But the goalie dives to the usual Tavernier side, which is obviously the goalie's right. But Tavernier very patiently and very calmly just tucks it down the middle. A perfect start for Rangers, and that is now his 7th goal in 35 games. But if you slap the 13 assists, which were up to that point, that's 20 goal contributions from the skipper in every other week. people are wanting him dropped. And if you're not a big Tavernier fan, I don't think you'll like today's video, because a lot of positive stuff that came from Rangers all came from the right boot of the skipper, because just a couple of minutes later he was involved once again. But the move starts with a ball getting zipped into Morelos, who was brilliant all night as well, and you'll notice that the longer you watch today's video. But he floats the ball out to Connor Golton, whose first touch is brilliant, who's sitting here, by the way, making his 200th appearance already for Rangers. A wee bit of break in the game recap for a couple of things. 200 appearances already for the shirt. And what's he been here? 3.5, nearly 4 years. The fact that he's been available for all those games, you can say what you want about the lad or anything like that, but you're talking about a guy that's made 200 appearances already. And one of the best things you can have as a football player is availability, people. And the fact that he's racked up so many numbers is a credit to the way he looks after himself and approaches the game and everything like that. So a massive congratulations to the big man, vice-captain of this football club, and again, gets a wee cheeky clean sheet to the boot as well. But speaking of the boot, he also just wraps a ball out to Tavernier, whose first touch is good, right? And I'm going to say it is good, but the second touch is absolutely magic as he just whips a ball. He bends it right round the back line of Hibs. It drops to Scotty Arfield, who's matched it in the run. I'm sitting back going, oh my god, it's almost Jermaine Defoe-esque versus Livingston. Nearly the same, but unfortunately on this occasion for the Rangers fans, this one isn't slapped into the back of it as the ball gets zipped right to Arfield, 8 yards out, but his volley goes just wide. But moving on to the next highlight, in fact the next little break in play was a couple of injuries. McGinn was getting turned inside out. I think he hurt himself on one of the occasions where Ryan Kent was running him. He ends up coming off, but we are also forcing to make an early change as Leon Balogun's hamstring looks like it's away, which meant Bassey comes back into the left centre-back spot and Barisic came into left-back. And I'll be honest with you, when he first came on, he did still look void of any confidence. But at that point, I was really nervous because up to that, it was so dominant for Rangers, but Barisic came on and it did shake the boat just a little bit. But it's been a wee while since we spoke about Ryan Kent, so let's talk about him, because the next highlight was him and Joe Rabel combining beautifully down the left hand side, and Ryan Kent gets inside the box, he runs away for one. He's quite clearly shoved and fouled here by the Hibs defender, but you're never ever getting 2 penalty kicks in only 25 minutes at Ibrox. You're just never ever getting it. Despite it being a clear and obvious foul, Nick Walsh was protecting his windies there. But thankfully around the 35th minute we started to grow into the game a little bit more, and that was with the high press getting involved, because you know Ryan Porteous, yes he throws himself about silly and everything like that, and yes he will have the occasional very good game on the defensive side of things, but you know he's got a mistake in him every single game. And this one we should have punished him in the 34th minute where he tries to switch it, I think, but he passes it directly to Glenn Kamara. We've got 3 people at the edge of their box versus 3. We try to find Morelos. We actually do find Morelos, to be fair, but on this occasion his first touch is a little bit slack. It kind of kills it. It ends up having a shot, but it's not troubling the goalkeeper for there. That was annoying because that was a real opportunity to put them to bed, and that happened just a couple of minutes later. Once again, with Tavernier down the right hand side, gorgeous ball in, finds Scotty Arfield this time with a header, but unfortunately loops over. And you know that thing, mate, no matter what you try to do, when it's no your day, it isn't your day. Well, a couple of minutes after that header from Arfield, you saw it just wasn't going to be his day, because once again Tavernier, gorgeous ball in behind, and this one is sensationally put in with the back of his head. Almost Hernandez-esque for Manchester United, if you remember that, or even young Dallo versus Manchester United, who scored with the back of his head. He kind of flicks it beyond the goalkeeper. Now the flag goes up right away, and I thought, well, if the flags went up that fast, it must be a mile offside, but it is very, very tight. Again, I didn't see a good enough angle whether it was on or off. Maybe somebody can let me know in the comment section below, but I just thought the one that he is offside is the one he buries perfectly, and that was a summary of Scotty Arfield going forward, unfortunately, in this game. And that was kind of the story of the first half. Chances for Rangers, but it being only 1-0 at half time. So all we're thinking going into the second half for is a repeat of what happened at the weekend, but not to start as slowly. So a wee bit of adjustment and some changes from that. And thankfully we got to see that, because where Hearts had a couple of opportunities early on in the second half, we really dominated Hibs, and they never offered pretty much anything until later on the game, when the game was sort of over and everything like that. Because you look at the 10-15 minutes of the restart, it was mostly us being positive on the ball. Joe Rabel, Glenn Kamara, Ryan Kent all getting involved, but the game really sort of was dead and buried in the 56th minute, and I just love the way this happened, because honestly Alfredo Morelos right now just deserves all these goals because his performances are absolutely unreal, man. And in the 56th minute, he just goes ahead and supplies us with another bit of magic for the old plump bags to keep them warm. But before we talk about the finish, let's talk about the ball, because we need to talk about the skipper yet again, who gets his assist that his performance truly deserved after a couple of nearlies with Scotty Arfield. And this one, it just looks so simple. When football's played correctly and rightly, it just genuinely looks so easy and so simple, and I just love everything about this goal. Tavernier head up, Morelos bends his run. It's a beautiful ball in behind, and to be fair, Morelos still has a lot to do, but by God, does the Buffalo Maniac do it as he absolutely unleashes one. Like, honestly, people, go back and you look at it, that is in the back of the net, in the bread basket before the goalie can even lift his stupid big paw. People, oh my sweet George Alberts. But after the second goal in the game went in, you could see it was well and truly game over. But Rangers didn't hold up their play or slow down or sit off or anything like that. In fact, no, they kept going. John Lundstrom was just everywhere in the game this afternoon. And that's what's annoying, because we talk about the highlights and stuff like that, but we didn't really get to speak about the likes of Lundstrom. But for me, that is back-to-back games where he has been at least an 8, maybe arguably a 9 out of 10 in terms of the midfield destroyer type. Won every battle, won every ball, kept us going. He was absolutely brilliant. I think the only thing he actually missed in the entire game was in the first half when he tried to jump up for a header. He doesn't get it, fell to Nisbet, and it was an easy save by McGregor. But that is it. That is the one thing I can think of in the entire game, and he was everywhere. So shout out to him, man, being out in the cold to coming back in when we need him the most. The pressure is at its peak. We just lost first place, and he's came in and he's put in that. Credit to the laddie, and long may it continue. Speaking of continue, by the way, if you're paying attention to the game recap, Tavernier to Morelos, they just combined, obviously, for the goal. Well, in the 75th minute, after some truly incredible work for Tavernier here, because it starts defensively. He nips in, wins the ball goes back to Hibs. He then comes in and pushes, I think, Nisbet out the way. Brilliant defending from him, but then he drives forward with the football. He gallops up the field. He then gets the ball back and he sits with Deutsch doing. He slips Alfredo Morelos in, and then Morelos actually dinks it, people. I swear, he doesn't just rattle it straight in the middle. He actually dinks it, and I nearly fell off my chair. I was like, what's actually going on here? But unfortunately, people, even when the old Buffalo lifts it on a 1v1, he still hits it straight at the goalkeeper, and you can say the goalkeeper's made himself big and everything like that, but I think that'll be one that Morelos will look back at and be slightly disappointed it didn't add to his goal tally. And I mean, if he isn't disappointed, I'm sure Tavernier is, because there's a real possibility here, people. If we were sharper in front of goal and we took our clear-cut opportunities that it was created, Tavernier could and should be sitting here with 5 assists versus Hibs and a goal. That's the level of performance that man put in, and he didn't even win man of the match. Alfredo did. That's how well he actually played. Now, there was a couple of things late on in the game. I mean, Ryan Kent combines very well with Aaron Ramsey, and he cuts inside and he shoots just wide. And he had a couple of those in the last 50 minutes, and Hibs also had an effort where Barisic gets caught out defensively. Ryan Kent tries to get back and catch up with Cadden. He picks out somebody in the middle. I can't remember exactly who it is, but it's a shot straight at McGregor, and then with the last couple minutes, Jasper, who unbelievably finished this game without a yellow card. That might be the most impressive. We're talking about gorgeous playing, gorgeous football, and gorgeous goals and gorgeous skills and everything like that. The most amazing thing from this game of football was the fact that that man didn't get booked in it, but he nearly ended up scoring a screamer as he cut inside and curled one, but it's well saved by McGregor. But that is it. We talk about the three that was up for man of the match. In my opinion, John Lundstrom, I mean, I've already said it in today's video. Tavernier, unbelievable performance for the skipper, and Alfredo Morelos. If you were push me one way, I would actually go, and I cannot get a wee bit of flack for this, but I would go with Tav. Goal, assist, should have had 5 assists. I thought he was faultless in the game of football, but I know Morelos won the official man of the match. But that is my opinion on the game of football. What about you? Let me know down there in the old comment section below. Some real positivity, people, so supply me with it. Let me know what you're thinking and why. And until next time, people, I've been Siege992. That has been Rocky, who, by the way, is in the bad books when I seen him lining up for him. But thankfully, he was there to be Agent Rocky and leave a lot of gaps for Alfredo Morelos to run into. So we can get a couple of claps for Agent Rocky's performance versus Hibs. But I'm going to wrap up now. Take care of yourselves. I'll see you at the weekend. All the best, and bye-bye.